Welcome to another episode of the North South Podcast. Um, our official Christmas episode today. Merry Christmas to everyone out there. Hope everyone's having a good festive season and staying safe. And yeah, at Christmas time, always the families together and things like that. Darren, you got to watch the game that's on for whatever region you're in, whatever sport your family watches.
Yeah, and it's a great time for sport because the last couple of years and that it's been jam-packed because you have the Boxing Day Test games, you have a full fixtures of Premier League, there's NBA going on, there's rugby going on over here in the Northern Hemisphere, so there's something to watch for everyone that when it comes to sports over this year, Christmas, New Year's period. So,
Yeah, and things are a bit quiet with rugby here now, but I mean, so many Springboks playing Northern Hemisphere rugby. It's pretty
yeah,
much, there's always something to watch that's of relevance. But I thought maybe we can get into some cricket first. Boxing Day test matches, we'll just get into the one we're probably not going to be watching, which is, I think New Zealand's in Australia. They're playing in Melbourne on Boxing Day.
yeah.
I think that will be fun to see the highlights for that. Obviously, tracking a few guys' careers there to see how they progress. Not too much on the series though. I think it'll just be proper cricketing skills to come out on top. Not too much history of controversy between those two, even though they should be if you think about it. It just
Well,
isn't.
yeah. Well, I think it's always like the first test, Australia won pretty comfortably, I would say. But yeah, New Zealand should have performed better. So hopefully this Boxing Day test game, they are able to show what they are capable of because they got a really good side. It's you've got some amazing players in there from New Zealand side, but the Australian side is just if you just look at David Warner and his record in Australia, his average I think is over 60, closing in on 70 in Australia. Like, how do you even challenge that? You've got Steve Smith that's averaging 60 year there. You've got Marnus Labuschagne, whatever he wants to be
Love
called.
Shane.
Um, that's doing great as at the moment, scoring a big 100 in the first test. So Australia should win that one pretty comfortably.
Yeah,
But I
I
think the
think.
one we mainly focusing on is the South
Wait. I still just on that other series. I think something to look out for would probably be like the heat wave they're having down there in Australia, some of the hottest temperatures ever recorded down there. So I think it will put a different dynamic on the game that you probably wouldn't get in Melbourne at this time of year. I think that's something to look out for, and I think that'll also do Australia well because I think they're heading to India next. Starting off with ODIs there, so some of the dual test and ODI players could probably get some experience in the heat.
Yeah, I guess that
No,
is.
but that's dangerous temperatures though. So
Yeah,
actually,
I
chance of it
saw
being cancelled. I think ICC do have a limit for how hot it can be when the guys do play.
I saw David Miller posting a picture on Instagram where obviously he's playing for the Hobart Hurricanes at the moment in the Big Bash League, and that the thermometer read 47 degrees in the car. So that's just really that's
It's
hectic
even
temperatures.
it's even hotter than Pietermaritzburg in February, March.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
that
that's getting up
and
there now. That's getting to egg
that's
frying
something.
temperatures.
Yeah,
Yeah. Um, yeah. Now to the one we actually probably gonna be watching on Boxing Day. The big one coming up. I think for me, I'm watching it because I want to see how the guys react to the CSA chaos. That's what I'm looking out for because under the cosh, South Africa tends to either completely dissolve and collapse or show something special, show some guts. Because England, they're a special team, man. There's some really special guys on there.
yeah, that's a
I
really
haven't released the
good
test squad
England
there,
side.
correct? I tried to find it for England. South Africa's one's out.
Well, they've got it should be out. They've got their
Okay.
traveling squad. They just played a 3-day warm up. And it's the usual suspects. There's no big surprises. Um, so yeah, it's a strong squad. It's a lot of the World Cup winners,
Yeah.
and I think
I
they're
was looking. I try to find actually like the press release. Usually they have a
probably
press release for the
favorites
squad.
to win.
And I could only find a squad on Wikipedia. So like that's probably like the best guess sort of squad, if I can put it that way. But like as of today, the official squad, I haven't seen it in the news yet. Maybe it is out though. It'll probably come out there first before it does here.
Yeah, possibly.
But
But
probably
yeah, like you said,
probably Joe Root captain, Darren,
yeah, I think he
for the
is the
test squad.
captain. Yeah, Morgan's the
Ben,
captain for the ODIs. Yeah,
and then probably Ben Stokes vice captain. Anderson, Archer,
yeah, he's
Bairstow,
back.
Ward, Curran, Denley, Leach, Parkinson, Pope, Sibley, Wokes, and Wood. So they do have some youth in there. They are trying to get some guys to come through. Anyone there you should probably watch out for that's really been doing well in the domestics there.
that list is full of them.
Okay,
Ollie
so it's
Pope
cream of
is,
the crop basically.
yeah, Ollie Pope is a really good cricketer from Surrey. I think he's had a pretty good domestic season when it comes to the red ball game. Yeah, wicketkeeper, batsman. Obviously, you've got Jofra Archer. Yeah, he doesn't need much more than that. And yeah, imagine facing a lineup with Jofra Archer, James Anderson, and Stuart Broad, and that's probably one of the best bowling attacks going around at the moment. It'll be interesting to see.
Anderson's one of the best swingers off the ball of all time, and he keeps going, man. He bowls from his own end. That's something else. Um, the longevity of his career is astonishing, man. I feel like he's been around forever. He keeps himself in remarkable shape. Like he doesn't age that much as well. How much longer do you think he's gonna go on for?
Probably another season or two, I imagine. I don't think he can. I think he's focusing obviously on test matches at the moment. I don't think he's playing ODIs or T20s. Yeah, probably another 2 to 3 seasons max, and then he'll probably call it time on an international career. I think the speed's going down as well at the moment, so yeah, he's got to rely a lot on that line of length and getting the ball to swing, because there's not as much pace behind him.
Yeah, I think if we look at maybe how Pollock, maybe Chaminda Vaas, and maybe McGrath ended their careers, they lost quite a lot of steam. I remember Pollock struggling to get to 130 for about 2 years at the end of his career there. Still managed to get wickets, still managed to make the squad comfortably. So there is a way to bowl when you like that. And when the speed decreases, sometimes the swing increases, and you've got just 100 and some odd tests under your belt. You know exactly what to do with the ball, when to do it. So that comes into play. So you see guys sort of have renaissance at the end of their careers when it comes to those line and length sort of bowlers, especially the swing bowlers. Now getting onto South Africa, getting onto the boys, the Proteas. Man, if AB can just cut the nonsense in coming back and just come back already, because I think he'd be a marvelous addition to the squad if he does. I think he will, man. I think he'll itch. He's been playing a lot of golf. I mean, that can only keep you, satisfied for so long, hitting something.
But yeah, he's not going to come back for tests or ODIs. It'll only be for T20 internationals. I think they just want him for the T20 World Cup, really, in Australia later next year. So yeah, it won't affect the test squad at all. But the interesting thing is that obviously there's been a big shake-up with our coaching and that, with Mark Boucher coming in, Jacques Cullis coming on as a consultant for the England series, and 6 new players being selected in the squad. So it's an interesting time, I guess, for Cricket South Africa, where it's a bit of the unknown.
And our assistant coach, Enoch Nekwe, I think that's how you pronounce his name. Is he a cricketer? I haven't quite heard of him yet.
I forgot who he coached. He coached someone, either Warriors or Lions or someone locally for a while. I think he's probably a decent coach, probably not an international coach, I would say. Yeah, I'm kind of glad that he hasn't been selected full time. I think,
Yeah, because there's a bunch of players you could put, or ex-players or coaches you could put ahead of him in that job.
yeah,
And something you and I were having a chuckle about, but actually, now that I think about it, that's quite unfair. Justin Ontong is fielding coach. He was good in the covers, man. He was good in gully. He was at one point in our ODI squad top 5 fielders, and that's saying something when you have Gibbs, De Villiers, the guys that win the cover, Dumini, Prince. Ontong was right up there. I've seen him take some wonderful catches. Got good hands as well. So that's honestly what we need right now, is just to go, because we have something good to fall back on. Even our recent history over the last 10 years. It's weird in South Africa, man, because like usually in these situations we hire the exact wrong people for the job. We just, once it goes bad, it never comes right again. These are the guys that I'm so confident in them, because we've watched countless days where we relied on them. Our hopes and dreams were in them, pressure was on them and they came through. Massive amounts of concentration, public icons, so they'll have support in building the team up. Even if we do falter, no one expects miracles immediately. But you're getting the right guys in. And I think for South Africa to secure the services of those guys, when you have commentary jobs coming their way, you've got coaching jobs from around the world. Definitely for Cullis, he could probably still play, maybe. Am I wrong in saying that? So to lure them away, maybe not bowl, maybe just come out in a T20 and smash it. I mean, but yeah, that's beside the point. To lure them away from those sort of markets and things like that, it shows what true South Africans they are, to take those sort of difficult jobs. I mean, those are horrible jobs to take right now.
Yeah, it is definitely, and it's going to be difficult. It's going to be interesting to see what happens, especially going forward. Like who remains, stays on, and that will Cullis just be there for like a month or two, and that's it. Yeah, who will they get on as permanent staff kind of thing, permanent batting and bowling and that. So I guess that's a bit of the unknown, but it'll be interesting to see as well who they select in their starting test match.
Let's look at the squad real quick. Usually we'd have 6 or 7 players that would be shoo-in. Yeah. That's changed now. So yeah, you mentioned 6 new players selected for tests in the test squad. I mean, like 4 or 5 years ago, that would be like hysterical to even think that we'd have 6 players making their test debut. I mean, people were just so lined up series after series, year after year, in the same positions. It's kind of weird now. Like, I'm struggling to pick the starting 11 because I see Vernon Philander there. He has experience. Big Vern, I see him there. I see Quinton, Dean, Faf. I see Temba Bavuma in the South African A side and the South African Protea side. So I'm not sure exactly where he stands and all that. Do you think he'll be starting for South Africa?
I think he should be. I think he's really good batsman in that middle order that we kind of need. I think you're probably looking. I think it won't be a huge shake-up. You'll probably have Dean Olga and Aidan Markham at the top, and then probably 3 will be Faf again. And then in the middle, you're probably looking at Temba Bavuma, and then hopefully Rassie van der Dussen. I hope he gets a run. And then 6, you probably.
He's in the squad.
6, you're looking at more at all-round there. I'm not too sure.
Quinton.
No, he's wicketkeeper. He'll bat at 7.
7.
So 6. I don't know if Chris Morris has been selected, or
doesn't look like it.
Or Pechlaquaya was also selected, wasn't he?
Yeah, Andile Pechlaquaya is there. There's also space for. I mean, Vernon's he averages around 20 in tests, so could be considered an all.
I think
so dismissive, Darren.
I think
writing him off as an all-rounder.
Yeah, Vern's going to probably warm up the bench for most of the series.
KG as well, place for him there definitely in the bowlers. You think Keshav will have a role to play in South Africa?
Yeah, definitely.
He's more of a touring spinner. Well, most of his experience comes from touring. But yeah, perhaps he'll be our starting.
He had a good stint here in the UK at the end of the county championship.
Okay.
He was probably one of the top wicket takers come the end of the season. And these are English pitches, so they're not really spin orientated.
Darren, can I ask you something about Kashyap quick? Like, what makes him good? Because to me, he just looks super run of the mill. How does he get wickets? Is it his flight? Does he get drift? What is it?
Probably line and length is probably a lot of it. His consistency when it.
Who would you compare him to?
I want to say. I don't know actually who I could compare him to currently. I would say something along the lines of Nathan Lyon for Australia, but
okay, yes.
Nathan Lyon's got a bit more spin and turn on the ball. He just got that. Maybe like an Ashley Giles back in the day as well. Just kind of that consistent line and length, getting the ball to grip here and there, and just that persistent bowling. That's
holding up one end, so to speak.
Yeah, pretty much. I think that's where he'll come in useful in that.
South Africa in their prime had a position like that for Paul Harrison. He did it well for many years. Well, not many years, couple years.
Yeah, he was I guess you can call him a spin bowler if you want. A slow.
Yeah, he threw those lefties, sort of those curved lefties in. He held up an end. He allowed our pace guys to rest. He played his part. He didn't really have a long career though. He sort of started and he was a bit late. But he was there through a lot of the times that we were in our prime.
Yeah, he was present.
What do you want to look at next? Which sport do you want to look at next? There isn't a lot for Premier League. Like, there isn't. There's like, they've sort of made dynamite fixtures on sort of, what is it? I think it's Boxing Day, Leicester, Liverpool. That's one I'm really looking forward to, that one.
Yeah, that's going
to be the other one.
Clash. And then
the other one is there's Arsenal United, like Arsenal United on New Year's.
Okay. But there's also Arsenal Chelsea.
Oh, is it? Okay. Because Arsenal, man, they are struggling. Their fans are livid. They hate the directors, they hate the owners, they hate the coaches, they hate the players.
But I think the Premier League's already wrapped up basically. I don't see Liverpool losing it. It's going to be difficult for any team to gain more than 10 points on them. You're going to have to hope that Liverpool screw up like 4 games in a row. And Leicester's the only team behind them. So
it's a wrap. It's a wrap when you just look forward to fantasy stuff only. Like, you're busy watching games because Lundstrom's playing or whatever.
Yeah.
Something like that. That's why it's pretty much wrapped up. And it's been a while since it's been like that. Quite a few seasons recently have gone down to the line. Actually, quite a lot in the last decade.
Yeah.
That'll be something to speak about in the New Year's episode, that moment when Aguero scored.
Yeah.
I wanted to Shearer released his team of the decade, so we'll speak about that as well.
And then maybe we can go on to a bit of NBA then. Obviously the big question is when is Williamson going to return for the Pelicans? And it's they were hoping now soon. So it'll be. I don't know if you've read anything.
I'm scared, dude. I'm scared because he's just like a meniscus tear from not even playing competitive season NBA, just from practice. That's quite concerning because he's like something super special. I mentioned him on the podcast months ago when he came out of high school basically and went to Duke, was when we started speaking about him. I think he's going to come back, but I fear that when he's around, watch him, because I think that now that the team's picked up on how fragile his knees are, how explosive he is, how they can sort of get into his head maybe, I think that's something they're going to use. They're going to foul him really hard. They're going to take charge penalties. And they're probably going to say a lot to him as well, put him under that rookie pressure.
But he's a big guy. So
He is, man. He's the second heaviest guy in the flipping league, and that is absolutely incredible. If you look at the NBA average height versus weight, Boban from I think he plays for the Clippers still. I'm not sure. He's an outlier by like so much. Zion Williamson's far out. There's like no one even within like 3 or 4 spaces of him. He's such an outlier in terms of being his height and his weight and playing in the league. It's basically like an NFL player that can jump and reach 10 feet.
But you can't
so it's
compare him
incredible.
to LeBron.
You can, but LeBron and Zion's very different. Very different players. I think LeBron's still the best player in the world by far. I don't care what anyone says. I've seen a lot of Jordan's games. Admittedly, I wasn't there to watch it at the time. I was very young, but I've seen a lot of it. If someone had to play for my life, I'd pick LeBron, man. He gets to the basket and he puts it in, basically.
Yeah. I was watching some highlights from some games yesterday. And
17 years in the league, special stuff, man.
Behind the head dunks and that kind of stuff. Like, no one else does it except LeBron. But maybe one of the big matchups on the 26th of December, 1 a.m., LA Clippers versus LA Lakers.
Basically, we have previews of Eastern Conference Final, Western Conference Final. You can literally call it right now. Not sure what the odds are. Take it. You heard it here first. Take it on either of those teams. Split your bet on either of those teams to make it to the conference final. You'll probably get both. In terms of the East, it's going to be Bucks and 76ers. In the West, it's going to be Clippers, Lakers, and you get both those matches. I think Bucks. The Bucks matches are on Christmas, and I think they both on Christmas.
Well, yeah, it's
well in the USA Christmas. Basically.
Yes, in the US it's so in South Africa, the Bucks in Philadelphia will be playing at 9:30 p.m. And LA Clippers Lakers will be at 3 a.m. on Boxing Day.
That'll be a lovely game, man. Like, if you really want to take a proper bet on a toss-up on who's going to win either of those games, take the bet, because I imagine odds will be even slightly favoring home side. You don't get that in LA, though. You just get basically one of the LA teams is given home advantage. They swap, and then those season ticket holders get to come in to the stadium, and it's basically their music, and they announce first. They basically just share the stadium, which is silly for LA if you think about it. Wait, but I think I might be incorrect, because I think Clippers moved to a new stadium this season. Not sure if it's opened yet, but it's a magnificent stadium. So take that bet. If Paul George and Kawhi Leonard are starting, if LeBron James and Davis are starting, you're looking at 4 of the top 10 players in the league in one match, just for 2 teams.
I think that's like a new segment we could probably do, is like betting advice or our betting advice.
I don't know. I give you betting advice all the time. Like, I don't know if it pans out or not. You don't ever tell me, so I don't know. Especially for NBA.
Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But that's
50-50. Would you say 50-50 or slightly more on winning and
60-40 winning?
Oh, wow. Okay, I'll take that, man. I'll take that. That's slightly better than random.
Yeah. So maybe that's another segment we could look at doing. And if Betway want to sponsor us, they can. Just drop that on there.
Shout out to Betway. Again, we've been doing it for quite a while now. We love Betway.
Is there anything else you want to speak about for this Christmas special?
Not really, man. I had a look at the boxing fixtures. Nothing stands out. The Crawford match just went past. He obviously came out on top, pound for pound, best in the world. The dude has, like, no homo, the dude has a 10-pack. Like, he's a boxer and he has a 10-pack, like a legitimate 10-pack. So he's obviously doing crazy sort of conditioning and sort of incredibly technical, unbeaten in more than 30, just lightning fast, a different kind of fighter. Other than that, I don't see too much happening. The recent heavyweight one just went past. AJ coming out on top. The universe is restored to its natural, good-looking order. Everyone's calm again.
Until Wilder comes along.
Yeah, until Wilder comes along. the bronze bomber. So yeah, looking forward to that soon. And I know people out there are boxing fans say Canelo's pound for pound, Triple G's pound for pound. You'll say Lomachenko's pound for pound. Crawford. That's all I'm gonna say. Do your research. It's Crawford.
Okay. And maybe like to wrap up, we can also just speak about some of the SA rugby players now that are
You'll know a lot better than I will about that. I had a look at some rugby fixtures, like very quiet in the Southern Hemisphere.
Yeah, well, it's obviously the off season down there. Northern Hemisphere now is our prime time for rugby and that. But all the South Africans over here, you've got Andre Pollard playing in Montpellier. You've got Eben Etzebeth playing in Toulon. I see Beast has just signed for DC United in America.
How awesome is that, man? That is awesome. I saw that today.
So yeah, it seems like a lot of the guys, or you've really got like Faf de Klerk playing for Sale.
What's it with America always taking the people retiring for their fledgling leagues? Always do that. It's the only people they can get.
It helps them, hey? It
works for both sides, yeah.
Works. They get paid. These guys get paid really well, and then they get all their knowledge and skills passed on to all the rookies down there.
That's true, man.
So it definitely works well. You just look at their soccer league and how well it's grown.
But the sad thing is that they keep taking the old players. But I mean, the Americans have always been more about the fandom and the superstars than the actual sport itself. Like a lot of the fans just, come to just see the people they know about and the celebrities and stuff. So I guess that's how they roll. The Americans, like, it suits Beast, man. I mean, it gives the crowd something to shout when he gets the ball. Works for everyone.
Yeah. But yeah, maybe it's a ploy to get all these Springboks up to speed on Northern Hemisphere climates and that come, the 2023 Rugby World Cup.
Maybe it all starts now to retain that thing, man. I mean, it's never a bad thing when the USA get involved because they throw money at things. So if it can catch on, because I don't know why it doesn't catch on. Perhaps the rules are slightly too technical, but it's basically contact without the pads. So I don't understand why they don't like it. There are a few states that do, but it doesn't catch on like how much you think it would. You'd think they'd want to hit each other without any pads on.
Yeah, I think it's growing. Probably give it a good couple of years. Their sevens team is one of the best in the world, actually. So if they can translate what they're doing with the sevens rugby into 15-man, then they'll be on the right track. But yeah, I think we can wrap up our Christmas special there. And yeah, thanks for everyone for listening, and hope you have a good rest of your Christmas day.
Thanks for listening, and please remember to subscribe and follow us on our different social media pages. Catch you next time.